Hope you're having a beautiful day today. So we have massive news. I'm going to touch on this a bit. Tesla stock on its way to zero. Elon Musk to declare bankruptcy. In my opinion, his company Tesla has been on the verge of bankruptcy multiple times. He now has a new 52-week low today at the close as we are approaching an earnings call, which all of Wall Street will be paying attention to. Of course, Elon Musk is the technological darling. He receives billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of taxpayer subsidies, free money from you tuning in, from DoD contracts, Pentagon contracts. He's building the entire universal surveillance system with all the satellites in the sky that target not just enemy nations for wartime scenarios, but many argue civilians, average Joe Blow Americans like you tuning in on a vast spy surveillance network that can literally zoom into your face from fake space. Because of course we've never been to the moon. That's all lies. We haven't been back, honestly, in like 2 generations, and they've been lying to you. They couldn't stream communications via live stream from the moon or take pictures of Neil Armstrong in real time and deliver that over a television network. More like television lies, just like the propaganda lies today. I guess the real question I'm considering right now are why are the powers that were, what many people call the elites, but I call scum, allowing Elon Musk stock to collapse? What do they want? Is this a power play broker move from some of his competitors like Ford, General Motors, Toyota? Because none of this looks good at all. Now, keep in mind, Elon Musk has been in court. There have been several high-profile deaths from his self-driving technology, which I told you is a scam, and I would never, ever use that or buy a Tesla because the vehicles suck. But in addition to that, there's been really aggressively declining sales. There's been trimming of margins. He's barely posted any kind of profit, especially over the first 10 years or so and the start of Tesla. It was really just built on thin air and hype. Now the latest Cybertruck delivery went awry, and there's been a massive recall of over 4,000 of these just terrible engineered trucks that were rushed to market that has a pedal that sticks on the accelerator and could possibly drive you off a cliff. Isn't it funny how the general is always right? I've been telling you for years now that all Tesla vehicle self-driving cars would do is drive you off a cliff if it didn't like you, or drive you into a brick wall, or Michael Hastings you, like the journalist I reported on, which no one seems to talk about anymore, who reported and broke down the General McChrystal story, which was a massive blow to the Obama administration, and then suddenly ended up dead. Blasted in a Mercedes-Benz, self-driving at the time, straight into a wall, exploded. In fact, it was such a giant explosion that his engine block flew out of the car into the next street somewhere in and around LA. I did extensive research on it. Of course, Michael Hastings had even warned friends and family, including his neighbors, that he was really worried that the deep state was coming after him just hours before his tragic accident. You know, it's funny how Americans will watch movies and they'll see all the covert operations taking place in a movie, but when they tell you that covert operations are taking place against average Americans and journalists in the United States, they call it a conspiracy theory and they somehow don't believe it. So again, Tesla stock is a massive, massive sell. 52-week low. I believe it's on its way to zero, much like the banks, unless it gets some kind of bailout or intervention. I also find it interesting that my boy, Jeff Bezos has actually said this before, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, that Elon Musk would be bankrupt and broke in the near future because his company Tesla is worthless. And I actually defend my boy Jeffy, Jefe the Bezos man, on that as well, which is why you should Tezos until you Bezos. Also, massive development in the luxury high-end real estate market, breaking new all-time records, outperforming every single technical, mathematical metric worldwide. Huge report just came out on my Twitter. now X. I encourage you to follow me at the only official account at AMTV Media. Again, I'll never reach out to you on Facebook Messenger. I'll never DM you. I don't have time to do that, guys. So be vigilant out there. Again, I'll never do that. You can only find me at our official website, islandproject.com, or by calling and texting and having a physical conversation with my team, Papa John, at 808-442-2934. Also want to do a quick shout out. I'm going to get into that hard hitting and in your face report. I just want to say big thank you to Linda Steed out in North Carolina. I love you. I'm so excited to have you on board into the Island Project. Just came on with 70 units to the Island Project. Congratulations. We've got a lot of North Carolinians in the project, and it's just an honor to serve you. I know we've had a working relationship, you and my father, for quite some time now, and so it's just wonderful to get you onboarded to our amazing world-class project. Now, let's talk about this for a minute. Links below, I'll add them in a second. I just posted this on X. Not only is Tesla stock collapsing, and this is a bellwether indicator on the NASDAQ, which I believe will send the stock market into a panic worse than 1929, which is what I've been predicting. You see, you get early indicators, ladies and gentlemen, and the earliest of the indicators is Tesla stock going to zero. 40% collapse. I want you to think about this. If you invested in Tesla stock, you've almost lost half of your freaking money in just a couple weeks. Talk about a total scam. You see, what you really want to be buying is Bitcoin. You want to be buying cryptocurrencies. You want to be buying luxury homes, true fractional 100% equity ownership of Maui, Booyah, Oahu, Booyah, and the host of properties here in the United States and soon to be worldwide. That's where it's safe outside of the banks. So let's talk about this. A major report came out from CNBC. I want to read through these metrics in a moment, and then I'm going to comment on the cascading collapse of Tesla stock. Now, keep in mind, Elon Musk has a host of other companies. He's been a very mercurial billionaire, focused on a lot of different projects like X, another surveillance tool. I told you that Elon Musk bought Twitter because it's a surveillance tool that he will then plug into Americans' heads with the Neuralink chip. That is a technology that many believe is the mark of the beast, that is hardwired like the Matrix into your cerebral cortex, which who knows, could fail, could be hacked, or could explode and set on fire like many of the Tesla batteries that have been lit on fire in the streets in recent years. Again, a Tesla battery, which takes a lot of CO2 to build, all kinds of resources. They've got to use heavier tires because, of course, electric cars, which no one wants, that suck. That's why Tesla's going bankrupt right now, and Elon Musk is about to lose all of his money, actually generates more CO2, dirty carbon coal fuel emissions than a standard F-250. And the reason for that is the batteries, the energy's got to come from somewhere. For those of you that even study this a little bit more than I do, you'll know that in order to get the energy into the battery pack itself, they've got to burn dirty coal, and they also need to mine, which creates all kinds of pollution in our skies to get the materials needed to go into the battery. Same thing with these satellites that are creating massive sky pollution, and now your children won't even be able to see a falling or shooting star because Elon Musk has polluted the entire airspace along with the DoD and the Pentagon as they climate engineer the weather, as we just saw Dubai literally turn into a magic island of floating Lamborghinis, because they've been geoengineering your sky with weather modification. This has all been admitted by Harvard, of course, spraying seawater into the skies along with other chemicals like barium, which they have now revealed to the American public with a various host of articles and sources in recent days. Used to be a conspiracy, now it's just fact in places like San Francisco. So let's take a look at this for a minute. Why are luxury real estate home prices that the general has been telling you to buy keep going up, even while the middle class homes sink? So the average home in America has declining sales. The average home in America isn't doing anything. The average home in America has inventory rising. Why, to a certain extent in some areas. Why is this happening? Well, the average home, typically Americans have a mortgage on it. A mortgage means death. And so when you sign a mortgage, you're basically signing your death warrant to 3 times interest payments on the debt of which the bank owns, and you still owe property taxes for the rest of your life. Because of rates have been skyrocketing with hyperinflation caused purposefully and engineered by the central bank, the average American, number one, can't afford a house, but secondly, if you own one, would have to trade up to more expensive debt. So you've created a situation where no one wants to move. But it's a lot different in the luxury market, especially in Maui Booyah. Because the rich know we're living in a hyperinflationary, economic, systemic, engineered collapse by the powers that were, and are also living through World War III and probably the arrest of Donald Trump within the next few days. Because they know that, they're using the high-end properties as their new bank. Which, who's been telling you that? I have. So the high-end property market is moving much, much higher because it's cash-based. I would estimate, for example, in Maui, nearly all of the luxury homes are bought in cash with no debt at all. In fact, if you were a buyer trying to use a mortgage, the seller would laugh at you because they have buyers from private equity and BlackRock and all other kinds of corporations buying all of middle America up, gobbling it all up as they lead you into the transition of total poverty in 2030. So I don't know why this article isn't really coming up too well for me, but that's the gist of it. Isn't that weird? It's like black. You see that? It's like all blanked out. Like, I don't know why I can't read it right now. I was going to give you some of the specific statistics of that. But bottom line, you can read the whole article if you go to my X account right now. And again, what is this doing for our members, investors? Making them rich. What is it doing for our member investors? Protecting their capital outside of the failing banks. What is it doing for our members? Helping them get out of the scam stock market. Keep in mind that Tesla down 40% can go to zero. Just like every single major stock in the United States can collapse and go bankrupt to zero. Please make sure you read all your terms at your local stock exchange accounts and understand that every stock you pick, this includes every index fund, the specific funds that it owns within the index, the ETFs, which are just paper wealth being traded back and forth, which is an IOU, fake representation of the underlying asset, can all go to zero. I'm sure you all remember 2008-09 with the collapse of all the major financial institutions in the United States that needed hyper bailouts and trillions of dollars worth of taxpayer monies. I'm sure you're all familiar with the wars that you're all funding in Ukraine, Afghanistan, Iraq, 2 previous failed wars, now a war in Israel, Gaza, a new war with Iran, and another one coming with Taiwan very soon. Again, the reason why Americans are broke, destitute, sitting in poverty, hopeless, and lost, and have no salvation whatsoever is because they've been allowing these people in charge to screw them. It's going to get much, much worse. Hyperinflation is taking off. I am looking at Tesla stock's collapse as a major indicator for what's coming to the United States of America. And it is not good news. Let me see if I can give you any specifics of this as I am reporting on this massive story right now. Please give it a like and a share. Tell your friends to sell Tesla stock before it's down 80%. It would just be terrible to see, someone's all of their retirement accounts completely eviscerated as a result of Elon Musk and his failing company with declining margins. And again, he's really going to need some bailouts here pretty soon. Otherwise, I think this thing is going to zero. We also had an analyst, I don't know if you saw this earlier, that was calling for Tesla stock to sink to $15. That would put it on more than a 90% decline. It's already crashed 40%. How about them apples? So this is very, very big news. It says here from finance, yahoo.com, 43% rout ahead of earnings because it did have a new 52-week low earlier today. You can see the stock is just trading straight into the gutter. But much like the other companies, I have full expectation will trade straight into the gutter. Again, they're telling you lies. AI isn't good. Okay, the satellites aren't in space. They didn't go to the moon. It's all propaganda. His company doesn't make any money. Okay, these are all deep state assets, just like Facebook. Again, Facebook was an InQtel investment from deep state DoD Pentagon contract hedge fund assets that invested and deployed capital into that company that then turned it into a massive surveillance apparatus here in the United States of America. All of this technology, of course, is used against its citizens and also on the war front as the American empire collapses intentionally by design and funds all these egregious wars overseas to its beautiful, in a way, and detrimental end. Dollar collapse, inflation, debt that can never be paid back. Elon Musk, they say, now on a war footing as a result of 10% job cuts. So he's firing and whacking 10% of his employees. So I think this is the Piper moment. This is the Piper moment where people are waking up, reporting a huge miss in its Q1 vehicle deliveries. Reuters reported that Tesla was scrapping plans for a low-cost EV and going all in on robo-taxis, which are terrible. You would never want to get into a robo-taxi that could drive you off a cliff or have its battery light on fire or its pedal get stuck like the Cybertruck that they just had to recall. Another reason why you would never want to take that microchip in your head, because not only is it the mark of the beast, but in addition to that, it could malfunction and it could set on fire. 10% cuts, 4,000 recalls, and entering this week, it's been down 41 freaking percent. I would not be a buyer here. I would be selling. In fact, if anything, you might want to consider shorting not just Tesla stock, but the entire S&P 500, the NASDAQ especially, and also the Dow Jones Industrial Average 20. That would probably be the best way to profit from the economic collapse. But if you don't know how to do that, move your money into real assets, a safe haven with no bank debt. Own the ecosystem of 100% equity ownership of beach and oceanfront homes that are skyrocketing in value, just as CNBC reported today. Because again, the smart money's exiting the system. The smart money's deploying into a new bank. The smart money is buying luxury assets and decentralizing itself, getting ready for the technological innovation of blockchain and our tokenization event at the Island Project. I would like to hear your thoughts, comments, questions in the box below. I, of course, am General Greene. Hoorah! It is an honor to continue serving you all. I want to welcome on a bunch of new members. We just onboarded a brand new member from Israel. What an honor, sir, to have you on board here at islandproject.com. Prayers are with you. And everything that's going on in that part of the world. We also onboarded a brand new gentleman from Scotland as well. So I think we have 14 plus countries now worldwide. We've crushed every funding rate record in recent weeks, deployed over $11 million. Soon we'll have deployed about $18 million. I'm ready here now for our fourth and fifth properties to be closing very, very soon. So I want to congratulate all of you. Again, pivot, leverage, and profit during the collapse of the American empire. As they put Trump in cuffs, as America declines, and as they wave Ukrainian flags. Pivot, leverage, profit. Buy Bitcoin, buy Tezos. Tell you Bezos, you should be getting in now. I'm expecting $16 to $20 imminently in this alt season bull market. This is the alt season post the halving into the fourth cycle of Bitcoin. Will put us at new all-time highs. 150 to 250K is my next benchmark, I believe, which will be the cycle high as we move into World War III, economic collapse, hyperinflation. And we'll see what Russia and China do next with the invasion of Taiwan, the saber rattling. North Korea just fired another nuclear capable test rocket earlier today as well. So pray for Trump that he's not gagged further and thrown into handcuffs ahead of the November selection. That would be terrible. More people would panic. More money will be removing itself out of the bank at that point. And I am looking very keenly at the banking FDIC failed bank list here in the United States. Keep that on your screen on a daily basis to see which major financial institution goes down next. So, if I'm a betting man, what do you guys think? How much farther will Tesla stock crash? When and how soon do you think, is Elon Musk on the verge of bankruptcy now? Is this being hidden? Is Wall Street now waking up that there's no money in Teslas at all? that there's nothing on the balance sheet, that it's all a figment of imagination and hot air of a billionaire who pretends he's buying for the people, but really works for the deep state and the DOD Pentagon with a massive surveillance apparatus. I'd like to hear what you think. Also, what do you think about the new Mark of the Beast microchip that he's installing in human clinical trials? Do you think that's a good thing? Will you be taking the mark soon, of which you will not be able to buy or sell without Elon Musk's chip? Or are you not complying? You know what the general is doing? We do not comply to the mark of the beast. We do not comply to the failed financial system. We do not comply to your bank bailouts. We do not comply to your crony wars. And more importantly, what we do is make our members rich. Islandproject.com. Get in now. Become a Diamond Nuts member. Step up to the 1,000-unit mark today. And you also get crazy ecosystem privileges like stays. Talk to my dad about that. Roll over your retirement accounts, your IRAs, your 401ks today while you still can before the capital controls are implemented. And I believe a decoupling of the crypto space from the declining scam stock market. Tell your friends again, all U.S. stocks can, and many will go to zero in the coming months, and it could be Tesla next. You were scammed once again by the powers that were. I mean, the only thing I could think Elon Musk is doing here is maybe intentionally driving his stock price down so then he could use bailout money from taxpayers to buy back his shares, right? That would kind of be the only reason why maybe you would do that, would just be like a share buyback scam, of which you could use DOD contracts that came from taxpayers because all the money's coming from you, and then you would just buy back your own shares and Ponzi it up even more until the next collapse. And then, litter the skies with more satellites and then install more microchips in people's heads. And then to tell him to take this thing, which he did, he called it unequivocal. Again, the facts are facts. The general has always told you do not comply, and I've always told you the truth about what is really going on in America today. Pivot, leverage, profit, get in, islandproject.com. Like and share this video.